Hello. Ooh, good morning. I am very late. I do understand that. I am so apologetic for my tardiness. It's raining here in Memphis, but I'm here because I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm committed. So, first of all, hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the live. If you're watching live, comment live. If you are watching the replay, comment replay. Let me know who is here. Let me know who is here. Hey, y'all. Woo! Yes, this has been a month. Do you hear me? So for those of you who are just coming on board and you're like, man, coach has been like on it. She's been live every, pretty much every day. So my commitment was to go live every day for the month of May. Okay. And this has not been easy to say the least because I have not done something like this in a long time. So the commitment was to show presence, to obviously get to know some of y'all as far as community is concerned, what you all are looking for, what you all striving for in your businesses. And as a business and mindset coach that focuses on leadership, and on a strategic level, we're looking at messaging and content marketing. One of the things I vow to do is to really get to know the problems and like staying current on what is happening in the niche that I've decided to flow through. Where are the needs at? And to get to know y'all and y'all's problem, but also sprinkle in values, sprinkle in personality, sprinkle in what I feel are some of my values. And but yeah, that's kind of where I stand on going live and being present. Okay, just want to wipe my monitor so you can see me clearly. Ooh, much better, much better. So yeah, we're going live every single day for the month of May. So obviously June, you won't see me that much. You won't see me that much in June, probably. Just depends on how it feels towards the end of the month. But yeah, I'm really proud of my clients. I run a program called the Matriarch CEO Coaching Program. And that is a beautiful program that I've been running for about 2 years. It's my signature program. And it's a group container where we are working with women to build an online education business, build an authority online, and being able to convert clients into their online education system in so many ways. Like you're teaching people how to do things, but you also are raising your prices and diversifying your digital offer suite. Okay. Why is that? Like, what is the whole point behind that? Is because digitalization, digital marketing, digital businesses, online businesses is a real thing. And if you look all over the world and you look different countries, they are opening their doors to digital nomads. They do recognize that globalization of business is down to the everyday person. So you could literally be where you are and still have a lucrative six-figure, multi-six-figure, seven-figure plus business living in Timbuktu, Tennessee. Like you could literally be where you are, blossom where you are planted, and still have a multi-six-figure business with clients from Canada, US, or other side of the coast, South Africa, Germany, etc. Okay, Dubai, list goes on and on. Okay. If you feel compelled, if you say like, coach, I really need some help to push this needle down. I need to really put the gas pedal through the floor. The Matriarch CEO Coaching Program is open. So feel free to send me a DM with the word matriarch, and then I can guide you through the steps on how to get you properly enrolled. Also, I have my link in the caption. So I woke up to people buying the 2024 Biz bundle which I thought was very interesting. So that's exciting. So women are getting started with just like getting their lead magnets together, implementing some systems in place, and just hitting the ground floor. The Digital Lead Her authoritative writing system is my number one selling course. Definitely grab that if you want your content to bring in the people. Okay. So anyway, so today, all right. So today we're going to talk about the habits of successful business women when it comes to economic downturns. And for a lot of you, this is probably your first or second real downturn in regards to business. Okay, in regards to business. So some of you have probably been operating in business, but to be fully conscious, fully an adult in this era, right? We're in a new era, we're in a new age, and to operate in business with this economic stuff going on is a little different than years before, because this is probably the first time where people are trying to predict what's coming and they really don't know how to navigate. This is your first time. You really need to like hone in and get ahead of the curve instead of behind. Okay. All right. So let me see who's here. Zoe. Hey, my little Zoe. Hey, Robin. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Drew. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Tiana. Welcome to the live. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. So yes, like I said, I'm a little tardy for the party today, but it's still going to be good value. I appreciate y'all for riding with me. Since the beginning of the month, it has definitely been a ride. Okay. It's really been a ride. Period. It's been a ride. Okay. So I was going to say 4 characteristics or 4 traits, but then I decided to add a 5th one on. So it's going to be good. And I'll probably have like a bonus attached to the traits. Yes, it's raining here too, Drew. Robert says Chicago land. I love it. I love it. Amazing. Okay, y'all. So habits of successful business women. Okay, let's just go in. And I know that everybody wants to be successful. If you saw my post this morning, we have an epidemic of the mind, right? We have an epidemic of people wanting to belong in groupthink spaces. They're searching for communities and belonging where the agenda is not even like put together in a strategic manner. It's just, I need to belong to something, even if it's totally made up, right? It's totally made up. Generational wars, generational back and forths in groups. And, I'm a Gen Xer, we got a roll call going on online. People saying, I'm, Gen X, present, Gen Z, here, rear ready to ride, and nobody's going to do anything. Okay. Nobody's doing anything. The roll call is fake. Okay. We're minding our business. I get it, but now what? What are we doing? Where are we going? Nobody has anything to say. Okay. So, I think it's just the fact of, we're struggling to be adults right now. I think there's the thing too, is that people are struggling to be adults. People feel like they didn't have a childhood. So now they're heavily rooted in inner child stuff and trying to feed this youthfulness about nostalgia and going backwards and holding on to the 90s and holding on to the Kimmets and holding on to pyramids. But nothing back there is going to benefit you right now. It's okay to acknowledge history. It's okay to, oh yeah, I remember that song, but to harvest over it, to swim in it. I think that's the concerning part, is that we are really stuck in spaces where there is no progression. Even people are holding on to the story of oppression. I'm oppressed because my ancestors. No, your ancestors were oppressed. You're fine. You're okay. You can get up and do whatever you want to do. You can actually build a multi-6-figure business, but because it takes work, it takes accountability, That's where we kind of draw the line. It's like, oh, you're telling me that I have to be responsible. I have to be responsible for myself. I have to be responsible for my own movement and my own, like, where do I start? I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know. Like, let me do the inner work. Let me find a therapist. Let me find somebody to help me because I don't know how to think for myself. You know, these things are what keeps us in an arrested development state. Okay. It keeps us in an arrested development state. But you cannot be successful unless you learn how to, number one, define what success means to you, but also you acknowledge that it's time to grow up. Capitalism definitely infantilizes the adult. Did you hear what I said? It infantilizes them. It keeps them in a childish state. Everything is sugar, highs. This is why you have a lot of adults that they're gravitating towards things that take them out of the current state of consciousness. Like, I have to escape. Let me take pills. Let me get high on caffeine. Let me, do some, this smoke this and mushrooms and go into the forest and throw up. Like, all these things, we're fixated on going to higher realms, being in the body, but going up, seeing all the delusions and the hallucinations that we feel like we need to have, coming back to earth, back in our bodies, and still not accomplishing what we need to accomplish because it's still going to be there after your high is done. Everybody is doing that. Like, everybody is doing it. We'll go to church to get a high. We'll go to a shaman and get, sit in the woods and sing kumbaya and take mushrooms. Like, there's so many things. We'll go to sound baths and lay on mats. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. If this is what brings you whatever you need. But when you come out of these spiritual experiences, there needs to be some enlightenment. There needs to be some directives. There needs to be some information. This is why I said that most of us are looking for emotional spaces instead of us doing the work, just getting it done. Just saying yes to yourself. Because if I'm going in the spirit realm to do anything, I am going there to get information. If I'm going to get high on something, I'm not going to get high or get an emotional high running around the church and laying prostrate before the altar, and I'm not getting information. When I'm out, what am I getting? Amen, somebody. There needs to be some intent by way of, why are you getting high off mushrooms? I'm going to the weed folk, and okay, but why? You're going to get high and smoking weed, but for what? Because you don't want to pay your bills? You don't want to take care of the kids that you created? You don't want to face the fact that rent is coming on the first? You don't feel like taking this class or feel like finishing this course that you've been promising you were going to put out for 3 months? Is that what it is? If everybody grew up and became adults and became self-sufficient and became self-reliant, capitalism probably crashed today. But they rely on you to stay in pain. Pain is profitable. I'm pinning your comment, Tiana, because that's what it is. You want to escape your reality instead of creating a new one. And even the spirit realm, getting information to create a new one. Because the intent before you go in elevated states of consciousness, if that's what you want to do and that's what you have to do, that if I'm going up, I need to be getting something, because it's going to come a time where I have to come back here and get back in my body and do. Okay. So, successful women in economic downturns, how can we start walking in this success And success is self-defined, right? We 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 can create our own definition of what it looks like to be successful for ourselves. We become adults when we start to understand that our forms of thought and our belief systems are not the only ones. We can reason with people and disagree with them at where they are, and understanding that this person has a right to have their own agreement. They have to have their own belief. That's fine. I don't throw a temper tantrum and get mad at you because you don't believe what I believe. Being an adult also means to be absolutely responsible for where you are right now, but also giving grace to the fact that this is what you manifested. But as for here and on out, which is number one, not accepting your current reality, but you are acknowledging your current reality. One of the traits of successful business women in economic downturns is that, yes, I acknowledge that this current state of reality I am in, but this is not to say that I am staying here, because now I get a chance to decide that I can create a new reality by what I know right now. So with that being said, I have to start putting myself in an elevated state, not necessarily going after supplements and all this stuff, but going within using meditation or breath work to relax the body, to receive information in my intuition so that I can get direction to move forward with my life. Does that make sense? Number two, is operating with a mind of abundance. Feel free to tag someone in this live that you feel will gain some value from this. Thank y'all so much. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for even being here. Feel free to continue to chime in the comments. Tell me exactly, how you feel about what I'm saying today. Does this resonate? Does this hit home? That helps the algorithm to stay at the top of mind. Number two is operating with a mind of abundance. So another trait of successful businesswomen is to operate with a state of abundance, understanding abundance. Understanding abundance is, and having that mind of abundance is all about, okay, I know that there are 2 billion people on Facebook. I know that there's 1 billion people or 900 million on TikTok. I know that there's 2 billion on Instagram. I know that there's 2 billion people, 1.5 billion on LinkedIn. I haven't even tapped 0.4% or 0.5% of the surface of how many people that I have access to. Which means it goes to my next point, which there is no such thing as competition in the kingdom. There's no competition. You literally have to have a kingdom state of mind. Can't nobody step on your shoes. There's nobody that can, you're going behind me and getting my clients. That's competition. Isn't a person they're in a scarcity mindset. So next time that you are in your feelings about oh my gosh, I feel like all my people are over there and following her. Well, that person has a percentage. You have a percentage of people. Like when you started your business, the clients, the money, the opportunities all began to form as you began to move in that direction. Make sense? You got to operate in abundance. You can make sales today if you understand that method. So you got all types and forms of sales. You have warm, you have hot, you have cold, you have all different types of sales and marketing. You can do content marketing, you can do lives, You do DMs, whether it's cold DMs, warm DMs, high DMs, whatever, how you want to do. You want to introduce yourself. It doesn't matter. Some people say, well, I don't like doing cold DMs, but you still got to get in front of people that you've never met before. You got to get in front of people that you don't know. How do you do that? You got so much, like, look at how many people are on Facebook. That's number one. Then you look at all of the opportunities in these groups and communities. Look at these groups and communities. Start double downing and look at some of the strategies around that. I don't know which group I should join. There are like literally over 2 million groups on, you know what? Let me give you a factual number because I need to take away all excuses today. I'm just giving you a, and then I will be my nails in the way. We got to get rid of all these excuses. This is good grief. Okay, so as of 2003, I know this is not as recent, but y'all, literally, there are over 1.8 billion people that use Facebook groups. You know, 400 million people find groups that they feel that are meaningful to them, but there are over 1.8 million Facebook groups. Oh, let me take it back. That was old. What I just said was an old stat from years. It was like way before 2020. The updated information is that there are over 70 million group admins and moderators. So I'm going to say it's time for you to get busy. There's too many opportunities out there for you to be sitting and saying there's nobody. You're making this up. You're literally making this up. Okay? Abundance is overflow. There's more than enough opportunities on these social media apps, not just Facebook, but LinkedIn to TikTok to Instagram. There are so many opportunities. Everybody wants to create a new app. They're going to all go to the same app. It's the same stuff. But successful women in economic downturns do not look at the news and say doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, there's not enough opportunities. We're not making any money. When people start saying those things, that is the child coming out. That is a childlike perspective. There's not enough. There's nobody there. Nobody is doing this. Nobody is making any money. That is made up. When you get locked and stuck, you're stuck in between trying to hold on to the belief of scarcity, but then you're hesitant about moving in abundance. You're in the in-between space. And all you got to do is start. Tiana said, I see so many opportunities, solutions to problems. I get overwhelmed and I don't know how to start. You got to simplify. That's a great statement, because I've heard people say this, like, I really don't know where to start, because many times we're consumers of content. When you're consuming content all day, you're consuming what everybody is doing and what everybody is talking about and whatever, but you have not sat down and said, okay, so now let me start creating content. When you become more engulfed in, you will become overwhelmed. When you are, and this is how you know you're consuming too much content, because you become overwhelmed. People ask me like, Jay, like, how you come up with content all the time? because and it looks like on surface that Jay is on Facebook all the time, but I'm actually a creator of content. I curate, but I create mostly. When I get online and I'm looking at everybody, I understand there is a difference between me showing up and creating content, because we're looking at what everybody else is doing. But if I take steps away, all of these creative thoughts begin to come, and I can write from that state. Absolutely. And she said, and I'm sitting on my own content. And we tend to do that because we're overthinking, is somebody going to look? Is somebody going to buy? Is somebody going to follow? Is somebody going to inquire? Or am I going to sound crazy? That's because we're stuck in this logical state of the corporate structure and the corporate system. Because I want it to be perfect. I want it to be like this person, but people don't realize entrepreneurship is all about testing. Entrepreneurship is testing content. You cannot put yourself out there and make money if you don't start testing content and giving yourself space to make mistakes. A lot of y'all don't want to make mistakes because you think it'll cost you time. Actually, mistakes, you fail forward. That's a sub part of number 2, is that you get to fail forward. It's that's all it is. If you had a failed launch or a failed masterclass, look at your numbers and say, did I really go all out? If I had a masterclass and it was only 5 people that came to the free masterclass, obviously you didn't reach out to enough people. That's all that is. And you have to say, I didn't reach out to enough people. I know I didn't. I got stuck. I got this mindset that people were just going to sign up. Like there was just going to be 1,000 people that said, oh my gosh, like I got to sign up for this. No, you have to actually go after people. You have to ask them, do they want to come? You have to consistently talk about it. You can't post about it 1, 2, 3 times and then think that people are supposed to just flood your signups. That's not how this works. It's a numbers game. Business speaks to you by way of numbers. The bigger the number, the bigger the opportunities. The bigger the number, the more money you could possibly make. You increase your probabilities by increasing your numbers. Does that make sense? It's just like your cash flow. You increase your cash flow, you can increase your opportunities and the quality of life. And you don't have to be stuck behind a cubicle or stuck behind somebody else's laptop when you can just create your own way. Because perfection does not exist. It doesn't exist. You got brands and quote unquote influencers that are making mistakes all the time. Multi-million-dollar conglomerates making mistakes. It's all made up. The future has to be created. Y'all need to write that down. The future has to be created. You have to create your own future. This is how stumped we get. It was a live that I had did a couple of years ago. It was actually one of my favorite lives. I need to go back and find it, but it was a book. Where's my Kindle? It was in my Kindle, and I talked about how this man had a workshop and he asked people to write down their goals. Y'all probably remember, some of y'all remember this, and you probably don't. But the book is called The Greatest Power in the Universe. The Greatest Power in the Universe. So it was this book, the same book, and it was a seminar. And I got to read this because when I tell you the first time I read this, I laughed so loud. It scared Maddie. Maddie was like, Mom, why are you laughing so loud? I was like, man, it's so funny. And I read it on the live. It said, this man had a workshop. It was a seminar. And he asked them about their goals. Okay. And he said, that in the seminar, we concentrated on goals, all the things we wanted to get done or see done sometime in the future, whether it was 2 hours from now or 20 years from now. Let me start over for people that's just, because I need y'all to hear what I just said. This man had a seminar. People were there. In the seminar, he said that we concentrated on goals, all the things we wanted to get done or see done sometime in the future, whether it was 2 hours from now or 20 years from now. You can't imagine this. I'm reading. You can't imagine the consternation this produced. People sat for hours with lead pencils to their tongues. It turned out that the cause of this paralysis was their feeling that they were being required to predict the future rather than make it up. That anyone could possibly make it up was foreign to their thinking. When it was pointed out that a writer made up a story, an artist made up a painting, and a composer made up a song, that they thought the comparison was unfair because they were being asked to make up something that was real. He told these people that the future isn't even real yet. He said it had to be made up. Don't you know what the people said to him? Every time I read, I get tickled. He said, the people said, that's not always true. They complained. He said, they said that the future isn't always what we think it's going to be. It's usually a surprise. The only people who are surprised by the future are the people who don't make it up. That's where we at. They trying to tell us something. They ain't trying to tell you now. They telling you a future that's not even real. Not you getting the fact that you can counter that. That's what I told people. Like, don't y'all understand that prophecies can be overturned? Prophecies can be overturned. Just because somebody prophesies something to you and tell you that this is what is going to happen and doom and gloom and this is going to happen. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I counter that. I send it back to dry places. That's not going to happen in my future. For y'all to sit here and say that it's okay, like, oh, we girl. The future is made up. You create that. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can't imagine the consternation that this produced. The people were so taken aback that they could create a future, goals. They like you literally can write down what you want to happen in the future and believe in it and say that this is what's going to happen. This I prophesied to myself. I don't want that reality. That's not coming to me. As soon as you believe a reality, you can either agree with it or disagree for yourself. That's when people say, oh my gosh, we're going back to Handmaid's time. I said, no, we ain't. That not for me in this household. My child will not be, that ain't happening. Mm-mm. That's not happening. It's not happening. People sat for hours with lead pencils to their tongue. It turned out that the cause of this paralysis was their feeling that they were being required to predict the future rather than make it up. If I ask y'all to make out a list of 100 goals, I remember Steve Harvey did this exercise. He talked about it. He said, make out a list of 200 goals you want to accomplish. 200. Your brain is going to automatically stop between 50 and 60, 70, because your brain is not used to thinking that much, like to think that hard into the future. It doesn't know how to process that, because when you give the brain activities to do, the brain can only go so far and it'll stop because it's looking for additional information, which is why it's so hard for you to like stay. You think that, okay, I got to do something else in order to bring something through, or I got 2 clients, now I got to create something else because maybe there's another way that I can get another client, when you can actually just do the same stuff. Whatever you did to get the first client, you do that to get the second, third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth. They were required to predict the future rather than make it up. That anyone could possibly make it up was foreign to their thinking. When it was pointed out that a writer made up a story, an artist made up a painting, and a composer made up a song, they thought that the comparison to them was unfair because they were being asked to make up something that was real. The man told the people that the future isn't real yet. It has to be made up. That's so powerful. I don't know if even like that is powerful, even me reading it again, because I didn't read this, I don't know how many times. They complained and fought back and said, but that isn't always true. The future isn't always what we think it's going to be. It's usually a surprise. So next time you open your mouth and say, I don't know how to, I don't know how to go about this, I don't know what to do, make it up. Time is made up. Corporate meetings are made up. The work that you're doing for corporate America is made up. It's made up. It's all made up. The only people who are surprised by the future. I'm going to read that again. The only people who are surprised by the future are the people who don't make it up. You're surprised at all of this because you didn't make it up. You didn't make it up. You did not create it. Somebody else did it for you because you got to go into somebody else's parallel reality. When you don't create your own way, you have allowed somebody else to use you for their reality because you didn't create your own. That's why, like, you can have babies for, you have babies, those babies are going to be used for somebody's wealth. It ain't gonna be, if you're not going to use them as passing down wealth to them, then they have to become somebody else's wealth generation machine, because you creation is going to, like, they're going to be created for something. Like, they're not going, it's going to be for somebody. Like, if I decide to say, you know what, I'm done, I'm not doing Ellison, I'm closing up, I have to go and create wealth for somebody else. Goals, here we go. That right there what he was telling the people that got them into goal achievement. So they moved on to start thinking about this. We were able to understand that the only way a person could learn a skill was to get a mental picture of himself performing that skill first. Did you hear what I just said? Your mind is the middle between spirit and the reality you're in. Do you understand that? Okay. We were able to understand that the only way a person could learn a skill was to get a mental picture of himself performing that skill first. That was a goal. The goal gave him or her a means of disciplining their actions. You need something to move towards. When you write down your goals, now you got to move towards the thing. You don't make up the goal and then sit down and keep doing what you were doing at first. You do everything in inspired action because now you got a blueprint. You got a destination. You got a map. You got a strategy now. Like, this is the goal. This is a goal is just a list of plans. And you're telling God to bless it because now you got a speed shot to it. Some of y'all, because you're older and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. You got a quantum leap, which means a lot of the stuff that you wrote down is going to get done by way of intuition. It's not going to be on your own. That was a goal. The goal gave him or her a means of disciplining their actions. After he had practiced or after they had practiced enough to learn the skill, they didn't need the mental picture anymore because the appropriate reactions had been trained into their nervous system. Do I need to read that again so y'all catch it? Okay. The goal gave them a means of disciplining their actions. After they had practiced enough to learn the skill, they didn't need the mental picture anymore because the appropriate reactions have been trained into their nervous system. You got to train your nervous system for success. Women, you got to train your nervous system for success. You have to do that. That's called cybernetics. Wait, wait. This going to if y'all gonna log off when I start talking about this right here. You're gonna log off. You're gonna run after I read this. I'm telling you. You're gonna sit back and you're gonna look at the abyss and say, I gotta get, I'm about to run. Goals and automatic reactions. What you wanted to accomplish and the steps that would accomplish it, practicing the steps, getting good at them, doing them, reaching the goal, a nice little system for things getting done. It used both the mind and the body, but there seemed no place for the soul slash spirit. I missed the soul, but apparently nobody else did. The program won immediate acceptance. Here we go. Soon, people were acting as if they had mastered all the secrets. This is the same people. It's really so simple, they exclaimed. That worried me. But as time passed and more people embraced the program enthusiastically, I gradually put my fears aside. The proof of a thing was in its performance. And everybody who took to getting things done the cybernetics way was getting things done better and faster. Girl, I went to revival and they told me that I was going to be a millionaire. Mm-mm, mm-mm. You got to train your nervous system. Yeah, train your nervous system. Girl, I went to this lady just came up to me. She just spoke into my spirit and told me that she see greatness in me. That was gonna Be traveling. You got to train your nervous system. You got to train your nervous system. You got to train it to see abundance. It's all about the mind, seeing you do it first. It's got to get proof. You don't have proof yet. The proof is you in it. You got to see yourself in it first. There's too much information out there to let you know that this framework is true. And that's the part that bothers me, is that y'all don't realize that seeing yourself do it is the first step to doing it and having it. Girl, I don't know AI. Why can't you learn AI? You got to see yourself learning AI and getting good at AI. It's doing it before you do it. So with that being said, if I'm adopting this spirit and embodiment of abundant thinking, you've got to understand that where you are going is going to require you to see it first before you step into it. This is why a lot of times you don't get stuff done, because you don't see it first. If I say that I'm going to hit $50,000 this week, and that's a goal, then I'm doing $50,000 in the body. I'm doing $50,000 in the spirit realm. I'm already seeing the $50,000. All I got to do now is step into it. I step into it by leaning and depending on my intuition to say, what do we do first? What do we do first? How do we lean into this? Number 3, we solve problems. Solving problems. A lot of this stuff you believed in. Even the reality that you didn't even want to experience, you just believed it in, and you believed in problems. You didn't believe in solutions. You believed in problems. So problems began to be much more troublesome for you, but it also became the most comfortable place for you. And you don't understand that every problem has a solution, every last one of them. There is a solution to it. I don't care how infinite the problem looks. There is something attached to that. Okay? You have to become a complex problem solver. The mind controls everything here. It controls your perception. It controls your perspective. When one takes on an area of knowledge as broad as science itself or math, and an arena as large as the universe, he or she is likely to find themselves in the position of not knowing where to start. We just talked about that. In other cases, or in such cases, the winds carry their own boating and leaning ladders, black cats, and most of all, well-meaning friends. Thus, it was on a Saturday night in the midst of a party that was high, if not drunken, a friendly fellow who had known me in college told me that he was now a professor at UCLA. Though I did not remember him, I acknowledged the past, then politely inquired what he taught. He taught brain sciences. He answered, and for the rest of the evening, he educated me. The mind controls everything. He wasn't understanding that he was stepping into an arena where when people acknowledged that I have intelligence. I have went through training for this. And then you don't take all this knowledge and expertise and do something with it. You're not monetizing and placing abundance on that. You're deciding that I got all this information, but I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do with it. And I don't know. So you sit there and you're stuck because you're looking at it has to be pretty packaged up and looking nice before I do anything with it. Everything is chemical. This is what this man said. Everything is chemical. Everything is psychological. Here. Number 4, get it done. Number 4 is get it done. They get it done. They get it done. They don't wait on anybody to tell them. You get it done. You don't have to make an announcement. You just get it done. You have to self-regulate. A lot of y'all, like I told you, you need help. You don't want help because you're scared that it's not going to turn out. But what if I told you to create your way? What if I told you to create your results? That's when I get everybody saying, oof, coach, I don't know. You get to create what you want to see on the other side of this program. Don't you know how hard that is for women to do? That's big. I'll say, let's create your goals. Let's sit down and create. Ooh, coach, I gotta do this. Like, let me think. Let me sit in this. Let me ask my ancestors. Let me ask, why aren't you enough to think on your own? Why do you have to go and get your ancestors and your higher self and all this other stuff? You are your highest self. Lean into that. Lean into that. Number 5, stay consistently present. Stay mindful. You can create the future, but stay mindful in the now. Like, don't look at, like, what do I need now? What do I need right now? And act on that. That's why I told people, like, sometimes when we say what we need to do, we make decisions based on circumstances. Like, some people got paid today. And you looking at your paycheck and you're like, I'm tired of going through this and I need to be coached out of this. The first thing you're gonna start thinking about is your bills. Like, I don't want to mess up. I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay that bill, I gotta be, that's what your current circumstances. But when you start looking at the other side and saying, I want to be coached into destiny. When you step out on faith in that, stuff starts happening for you. You'll be surprised. And I've told people this, the moment you surrender, I've coached women through this and I see it every single time. When they lean into the faith, when they lean into faith and lean into creation and start depending on the spirit nature of who they are and source, bringing it to them, what happens is that miracles start happening. Just like when I told y'all about my client that, she was frustrated on the call. She was like, I'm tired. Like, I want things to start happening. And I coached her out of that. I brought her up to the fact that there's nothing wrong with you, but you have to release your stronghold on money. She released that on the coaching call. And then she checked the portal and it was $1,700. People bought $1,700 worth of stuff in that hour and a half. She couldn't believe it. Some of that stuff that y'all want is stuck up in the spirit realm in a portal, and it's just clogged because you trying to micromanage God and trying to control everything at the same time. And it's not doing you a bit of good. You're not stable. But you also want to build wealth at the same time. You're not going in that direction because you're trying to control the how. That's not how this works. And I'm sorry, I don't know what else to tell you about that, but the how is where you're sitting at, and you're trying to sit in the how. You're not going to get anything that you want trying to control that part. That's not your job. Y'all, the bonus is like, yes, you can make plans and you can demonstrate commitment, but it's not production. Production is the what do I need to do, not how do I get there. What you do to get there is going to come, the how is going to quantum shift you. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to help you. Danielle, is Danielle on here? Danielle, you still on here? Danielle probably in and out. Um, you gotta come out of the how. You gotta come out of that expeditiously, quickly. Danielle, I got you. I'm coming. I'm coming. I just saw our meeting. Um, I need y'all to focus. I'm getting ready to end because I got a client meeting, a Voxer meeting. I need y'all to focus. Get your life together. I need y'all to focus, and I need you to get your life together. If you want to be a matriarch, get your booty in here. Some of y'all do not have time. You do not have time. You don't have time like you think you do. And I keep driving the matriarch because it's the best way to work with me and the best way you can get results. Like you gotta make decisions and you gotta move. Okay. So I'm looking for some of y'all, maybe one or two of you that's sitting and just looking at the wall, like I need to really get my life together. You need to be obedient to that because you got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. No more mediocrity. Okay. All right, Danielle, I'm coming to you. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day. I'll be back at 8 o'clock in the morning. Get to work. Get to work. Go make some money. All right. Take care. Bye.